What's up, everybody? Welcome to another session here at Creative Composition 101 class. Yesterday, we had a very fruitful discussion regarding the role of memory, perspective, and emotion in shaping narrative truth. Well done yesterday. We had a great time. You were very participative and we enjoyed the session. Today's topic is about elements of voice, diction, syntax, tone, and perspective. Those are the different elements of voice, by the way. Diction, syntax, tone, and perspective. Perhaps several terms na na-mention ko ay familiar na kayo already with and hindi na tayo masyado mahihirapan to elaborate the concept, no? Because we already introduced yung ibang mga terms na meron tayo here. Beginning with defining what is voice in writing. Voice in writing is the unique personality, style, and perspective. Ito yung unique approach ng writer in order to complete his or her literary piece. It is their distinct fingerprint. It is the writer's distinct fingerprint of the writing created by specific combination of word choice, diction, sentence structure, syntax, pacing, and tone. Now, in relation with voice in writing, alam niyo ba class na merong iba't ibang uri ng voice, no? Tatlo. First, we have the author's voice. Second, narrator's voice. And third, we have the character's voice. So let's have muna yung author's voice. Ang author's voice, ito po yung personal signature ng isang writer. Signature in relation with his or her style, his or her approach, his or her mm, technique, no? In completing a particular literary piece. It is the overarching rhythm, vocabulary, and worldview that makes uh, all the work of the writer. No? For example, Stephen King's conversational and suspenseful tone is distinctly different from the highly poetic and lush prose of Vladimir Nabokov. I don't know if you're familiar with Stephen King and Vladimir Nabokov. They are different from one another in terms of their approach and style, no, in completing a text. And remember, nagkakaroon ng variation or differences depende ho kung ano yung purpose nyo sa pagsulat, no? Kung ang goal nyo is to entertain people or to entertain your target audience, definitely you will select words na light and humorous, no? Kung naman technical naman ang approach ninyo in reaching out your target audience or readers, definitely you will be more selective, no, in terms of your word choice, no? So depende sa purpose. Remember, we have three different main purposes, no, both in speaking, writing, and reading. First is perhaps ang goal natin is to inform. Second, to persuade or perhaps gusto lang nating ma-entertain. So, ma-entertain o mang-entertain. So, depende po sa approach. So, itong author's voice, hindi po siya subjective. No, dahil nga ang sinabi, it's their personal signature. So, it is objective in nature. We cannot alter nor modify their approach because it's their style. It's their signature, no? It's their approach, it's their technique in completing the literary piece. Second, we have narrators or narrator's voice. This is the voice of the specific persona telling the story. Ito ho yung ating tagapagsalaysay, no? Who is narrating the story and how it is narrated. So it's different from author's voice, no? The narrator dictates how the story is delivered and it is shaped by point of view. Remember, we have different kinds of point of view. We have first person, second person, down to third person point of view. And remember, pagdating sa third person, no, it is classified. Pwede siyang maging limited, pwede rin siyang maging omniscient. Okay, so that's narrator's voice. Third, we have character voice. In fiction, every character should have a distinct way of expressing themselves. Siyempre sila ay different from one another, so dapat meron silang kanya-kanyang viewpoint, no? In expressing themselves, both in dialogue and internal thoughts. A character's voice is shaped by their background, education, disposition, and quirks. For instance, a cynical, highly educated detective will use completely different sentence structures and slang than an anxious, fast-talking teenager. Ah, which is true, no? Depende. Nakadepende kung ano yung background ng character sa kung paano siya magsalita or paano siya makitungo, no, sa ibang mga characters sa loob ng kwento. That's character voice, no? We're done already with the different types of voice. Now let's have the different elements, no, mga elemento. We name, no, already the following elements as diction, syntax, tone, and perspective. So let's talk more about itong mga ito, beginning with diction. It is an author's choice of words. It is the foundation of voice and contributes to all of its elements. Diction. When reading a serious literature, never skip words that you don't know, especially if it's a classic material. Perhaps the best thing that we can do is to check its definition, check its meaning sa dictionary, or perhaps we can simply find its context clues in order to decode the meaning. And remember, no, without decoding or understanding that unfamiliar term, magiging barrier to in order for us to understand the purpose and the context of the story. So it's really important. Kung tayo naman ay writer, mahalaga na piliin nating mabuti yung words na gagamitin natin. Depende po doon sa purpose natin. Okay? Kagaya nung nabanggit natin a while ago, nakadepende po ang words choice o word selection sa kung ano po ang purpose natin in delivering our message or thoughts. No? Remember, class, that effective voice is equal to words that are clear, concrete, and exact. We always practice yung ano natin, no, yung palatandaan natin in expressing concise statement, no. Keep it simple, keep it short and simple. Nang sa ganon, mas klaro at mas direct to the point. Now class, consider the connotation for the following pairs. A torn coat versus a tattered coat, to want revenge versus to thirst revenge. Kung ang goal natin ay sumulat ng isang creative text, perhaps talaga namang ang best approach is to select specific word, no, na talagang bagay pagdating sa malikhaing paglalahad. Excuse me. And of course, ang pinakamagandang gagamitin nating phrases ay ang a tattered coat and or to thirst for revenge. No, mas ano siya, mas poetically yung approach niya, no, mas pure of ano ba to, symbolism, no. And kita naman natin class na syempre mas maganda yung pagkakagamit natin in relation with creative writing. Remember that topic is equal to specificity and sophistication. For example, writing about technology includes specialized language. Na dito na din papasok yung mga usapin patungkol sa jargon. Okay, for example, email or electronic mail, server, interface, and wiki. So, kung mapapansin niyo lahat to medyo technical yung mga terms na ginamit natin dito. Since ang goal here is to write an active, not a creative writing, but an academic text. Tandaan ha, magkaiba ho ang academic at saka non-academic text. And since we're talking about technology here, no, very technical, no, very formal ang approach natin. Of course, gagamit tayo ng mga terms na talagang hindi kinakailangan ng mga mabubulaklaking salita. So this one is an example of academic text or academic writing na may subject na very technical din, no, in nature. What else? Purpose is equal to words are chosen to impart a particular effect. Yun yung nabanggit natin a while ago. Nakadepende po ang word selection sa purpose po ng writer. For example, purpose to inform, syempre, direct to the point tayo dyan, straightforward diction. We do not use actually yung mga fun and light words o humorous terms no, or words. Syempre, kailangan natin mas maging discreet, no, mas maging direct in terms of delivering the message or the information. But let's say for example, our purpose is to entertain, so we can mix and match terms na talagang ironic, playful, and unexpected dahil nga ang goal natin ay mag-entertain. No? So, dalawang magkaibang purpose at dalawang magkaibang approach in reaching out our audience. Tandaan, nakadepende din no, kung sino yung ating audience. Ano ang purpose at sino ang audience. So, yun po yung mga kailangan nating isaalang-alang. No? Kailangan nating i-consider in selecting our words or selecting terms no, in completing our text. Of course, occasion is equal to level of formality. Nakadepende yan. Kung kunwari na lamang kung ang kausap natin or let's say ang target audience natin ay professionals, then of course we need to adjust yung ating level of formality. Hindi naman natin sila kakausapin na para tayong nakikipag huntahan lang or nakikipag-joke lang. So we need to adjust. No? We need to consider our audience and no, in order to, of course, to determine yung level of formality na meron dapat tayo. Okay? Kung formal, usually, nakikita natin to sa scholarly writing. Serious prose, poetry, scholarly writing, mga academic texts na meron tayo. Like thesis, dissertation, mga textbooks, no, what else? Position paper, proposal, project proposal, business proposal, and so on and so forth. Very serious, no, very direct to the point. Kung informal naman, ito yung mga literary materials na expository essays, newspaper articles, and or fiction. Kung colloquial naman o slang, gagamit tayo ng mga balbal na salita to create a mood or capture a historic regional dialect. Pero not typically na talagang balagbagan. No? Medyo informal na may pagka-colloquial ang dating kasi syempre nakabase tayo sa kung saan ang lugar. No? O kunwari kung ang audience mo ay taga-probinsya, so you need to adjust yung iyong dialect if you may, or if you can adjust it, then you may do so in order to reach effectively your audience. No? Kung formal, formal. Kung informal, informal. Colloquial, colloquial. So, nakadepende again sa audience, sa level of formality, at sa purpose. Okay, let's talk about this time, connotation and denotation. This is two terms no na talagang magkaiba sa isa't isa. Kapag sinabi natin kasing connotation, it has something to do with the symbolic meaning of that particular term. It is subjective, no, kadalasan, meaning suggested by associations of word. Malayo, no, sa literal na meaning yung connotation na tinatawag natin since we're talking about symbolic meaning o yung symbolicong pagpapakahulugan sa isang salita. But on the other hand, denotation naman, it refers to the literal meaning of the word. Usually, nakikita natin ito sa mga dictionary, mga thesaurus, yung bagang universal definition or meaning ng isang salita na kahit saan ka man makarating na bansa, lalo kung English ang pinag-uusapan, iisa lang ang kahulugan. So, verified po ito at yun po ang universal definition. Hindi kagaya ng connotation, since pinag-uusapan nga dito yung simbolikong pagpapakahulugan, medyo subjective siya ng bahagya. Kagaya na lamang kapag nakita natin ang ang kulay na puti, so maraming pwedeng associations no doon sa kulay na puti. Pero kung denotation ang pag-uusapan, yung literal lang na meaning ng puti, so syempre ito ay isang kulay. It's a color, a shade, no, a color, a color. So that's it, no? And that's it for diction. I hope somehow you understand yung part na yun, no? Again, ulitin natin sa diction, nakasaalang-alang ho dito yung purpose ng writer. sino ang audience na kanyang tina-target. At syempre, kung alam niya na kung sino ang audience, he or she can easily adjust yung level of formality at saka yung kanyang approach, no, in ah, reaching out yung kanyang target audience. So, nakadepende talaga. So, ibig sabihin, hindi ka lang basta magsusulat, alamin mo muna sino ang iyong target audience. Ganon din class, no? Sa pakikipagtalastasan. It's important to know your audience first, to learn from, to know them, no? Alamin ang background, sino ba ang mga i-expect mong makasalamuha sa talk. So, it's important to adjust. Of course, kailangan. And then, of course, number two, our second element, we have syntax. Ang syntax ay bahagi ng linguistics, no? Yung pag-aaral in terms of language. So, syntax is the relationship between and among words in a sentence, the way words are arranged within the sentence. As if we're talking about arrangement, no, words arranged in chronological, not in chronological order, kasi sometimes pwede siyang ma-blend ng bahagya. Sorry, mabend ng bahagya, no? Syntax encompasses, it covers word order, sentence length, sentence focus, and punctuation. Ano-ano nga ba ito? In terms of word order kasi class, pwede siyang mabago. Depende yan sa construction actually. Na meron tayong mga, merong mga exemptions or merong mga special rules, no? Bibigyan ko kayo ng halimbawa later. Okay, word order is the arrangement of words in a phrase, clause, or sentence. Phrase meaning parirala, no? Clause is sugnay, and then sentence ay pangusap. Okay, phrase, parirala. Okay, in English and many other languages, it dictates grammatical function and meaning. Changing the sequence of words can completely alter what a sentence means or render it grammatically incorrect. Siyempre meron tayong mga sinusunod na rules about it. Pero yun nga, tatandaan natin na may mga kailangan tayong sundin, no, in order for us to be grammatically correct. So that's word order. Hindi naman, not all the time, subject, verb. Mauna lagi si subject and then followed by the predicate. Sometimes, medyo may mix up dyan. Mauuna yung be verb bago yung subject o bago yung pronoun. Am I right? For example, the sentence, am I right? So, it's an interrogative sentence. Diba usually, sa sentence construction, laging nauuna si subject. No? For example, I am Farah. Or I went to school yesterday. Ganyan. No? Usually, nauna yung subject, no? Pero, syempre, may exemption, may rules, at saka may mga special, considerations. Kasi, for example, yung interrogative sentence, hindi naman palaging una dyan yung subject. No? Kadalasan may be verb sa harap. Depende. So, that's word order, no? Napaka-magical na grammar rules. So, kailangan talaga familiar tayo. And, hopefully, no, maging familiar tayo, no? Sa lahat-lahat, actually, ang daming special rules about it, no? Nakakalito siya ng bahagya if hindi tayo gaano familiar. Pero, it's okay, no? Kaya nga tayo nag-aaral, no? Bahagi siya ng ating lesson. Now, moving forward, let's have sentence length, no? Yung haba. Kadalasan, meron ba? Na-observe ko lang when someone is writing, siguro yung essay na lang, halimbawa natin. Kadalasan yung nahihirapan junior high school and senior high school students, hindi nila alam kung kailan mag-end. No? Kailan mag-end yung kanilang sentence. Sometimes nagka-commit sila ng run-on sentences. Ibig sabihin, no, tuloy-tuloy. Wala, hindi na nagumamit, na nakalimutan na ang function ng punctuations, ng conjunctions, and other parts of speech. No, minsan, syempre, grammatically incorrect na nga ng bahagya. Sometimes, hindi pa natin malaman kailan ba mag-end yung sentence ko. In writing, a standard sentence average 15 to 20 words and typically contains one independent clause o yung sugnay na makapag-iisa. It covers a subject and a verb. There is no strict grammatical or theoretical limit on how long a sentence can be, pero napakahalaga class na maintindihan, no? Maunawaan kung ano yung gusto mong iparating, na hindi ka nagko-commit ng grammatically incorrect sentences. So, wala naman tayo sa kung gaano kahaba, as long as tama ang paggamit ng bantas at ng mga connectors natin, mga pangatnig, pangukol, may mga ganyan. So, go-go lang yun. No? Pero yun nga, may standard sentence average tayo. Yun ang malinaw. A sentence focus, syempre, a writing technique that ensures the grammatical subject of your sentence matches the actual doer or core meaning. Dito na papasok kung sino yung subject at ano ang predicate. Kung sino ang gumagawa ng action at anong action ang ginagawa. It eliminates, excuse me, wordy filler, uses strong active verbs, and makes writing clear and concise. No, mahalaga na alam natin kung ano ang simuno at ano ang panaguri, ano-ano ang bumubuo sa simuno at ano-ano ang bumubuo sa panaguri. Alam ba natin? So, dapat alam natin, class. No, sa English, ito yung tinatawag nating subject and predicate. No? Subject and predicate. So, sentence construction, napaka-crucial na class. Next, we have punctuation. It's a standardized system of symbols used in writing to clarify meaning, separate structural units like sentences or clauses, and indicate pauses or intonation. It acts as a set of silent cues that allow a reader to understand exactly how a writer intends their text to be interpreted. Okay, marami tayong punctuations. So, in Tagalog, tinatawag natin itong bantas, no? Iba-iba. We have tuldok, tutuldok, kuwit, tuldik, gitling, at marami pang iba. No? Tandang pananong, tandang panamdam. Yeah. In English, ito po yung mga period, comma, colon, semicolon, question mark, exclamation point, dash, hyphen, etc. So, lahat ng yun ho ay merong function, no, in relation with sentence construction. Alam natin dapat kung kailan gagamit ng tuldok, kuwit, at iba pa. So, iba-iba ho ang function niya. Baka isipin lang ho natin na same-same lang po sila. Okay? Okay, common punctuation marks include, ito na yung mga nabanggit ko a while ago, period, ibig sabihin full stop po ito. Kumbaga sa traffic lights, ito po yung tinatawag nating red light, no? It marks the end of a declarative or imperative sentence, no? Declarative sentence o yung pasalaysay na pangungusap or imperative sentence. No? Nag-a-ask ka ng request or ng command, you're asking or requesting, asking permission or requesting something. Imperative. Diba? Question mark, it indicates a direct question. If you have concern, queries, clarification, perhaps, perfect na bantas here is question mark. And not perhaps but totally, ang pinaka-epektibong bantas is question mark. No? Of course, we have exclamation point used to express strong emotion or emphasis. Ginagamit to sa sa exclamatory sentence. Naghahayag ng matinding damdamin. Yes. And then of course, we have comma, separates clauses, items in a list or introductory phrases. Semicolon, links two independent closely related clauses o yung sugnay, no? Colon introduces a list, a quote, or an explanation. Don't be confused sa semicolon at sa colon. Wag na wag po tayo ma-confuse. Actually, tas yung semicolon, pwede yung pamalit, no, sa conjunction. Pwede siyang pamalit sa conjunction. Pero may rules po yun na anong particular conjunction ang pwede niyang palitan kasi may iba't ibang uri tayo ng conjunction. So, if you want to learn more about it, please visit my other videos. Nandun po yan. Okay? What else? Apostrophe indicates possession or the omission of letters in contraction. For example, can't. No, yung apostrophe, yung punctuation na nasa taas sa pagitan ng letter N and T, ang tawag po natin dyan ay apostrophe. And then, of course, we have quotation marks, encloses direct speech or quoted text. Okay, so that's quotation marks. I think yun na naman yung common punctuation na kailangan nating tandaan. Ito po especially sa pagsulat o sa pag-familiarize no, when we are reading something. And then of course, third element, we have tone. Ayan. Tone may be defined as the writer's or speaker's attitude toward the subject, the reader, or himself or herself. So, kagaya nga na sinasabi ko, class, kanina, no, sa author's voice pa lang, na we cannot alter kasi ang tone at yung author's voice, ayan, ano yan eh, sisterhood yan eh. No, hindi natin sila pwedeng i-modify, i-alter. We cannot change. Kasi ito ho yung kanilang personal touch sa kanilang literary text. Okay? Anyone can sense a speaker's attitude and tone of voice. However, understanding the tone in written poetry is an entirely different matter. The reader does not have a voice inflection to carry meaning. Tatandaan class, no, pagdating sa tone, ito ho yung purpose ng writer. Ito po yung central idea, no, ng nasabing poetry man yan or prose. No? Yun po yung tone na tinatawag natin. Yung kanyang intention no, in writing the text, yan po yung tone na tinatawag. Kaya nga po, hindi po natin siya pwedeng i-alter or i-modify. Okay? Kasi tone ho, objective po to in nature. Ito po yung kanyang attitude. Ito po yung kanyang the purpose, yung kanyang uh, punto de vista no in developing and or completing the text. So we cannot touch that part no, we cannot modify that one. Okay? So that's tone. Ito yung kadalasang sumasagot sa mga katanungang ano ang pangunahing ideya ng tula. Mga ganun, ano ang pangunahing ideya ng kwento. Siyempre, magbumula yung kanino? Sa writer. Siya naman yung sumulat, hindi naman tayo. No? What else? Your understanding of diction, images, details, language, and syntax all contribute to understanding of tone. So, magkakasama po sila. Ibig sabihin, kung wala ang diction, yung word choice, yung images, details, language, and syntax, yung sentence construction, hindi ho natin mabubuo ang kaisipan o yung pagkakaunawa ho natin sa intention ng writer dun sa kanyang attitude no po in writing the text. So, mahalaga na maunawaan ho natin sila holistically. Okay? A writer's tone is their emotional perspective and attitude toward a topic and audience, conveyed through word choice, sentence structure, and imagery. It determines how the reader interprets the text. Okay? So that's tone. Okay, kung ang tone ay objective in nature, pagdating ng perspective, sa usaping perspektibo, ito ho ay talaga namang different, diverse, no? Magkakaiba ho yan. So, subjective ho ito. Okay, dito na papasok yung perspective ng readers. No? Paano ba tinanggap ng reader ang text? No po, ang ideya ng author. So, iba-iba naman ho tayo ng pagtanggap. No? Depende ho kasi sa kung ano ho yung ating sa pantaha right after mabasa yung text. In reading and writing, perspective is the lens through which a story is told or an argument is framed. While the view addresses the technical who is speaking, perspective dives into how and why, reflecting a character's or author's specific attitudes, belief, and background. Point of view refers to the perspective from which a story or narrative is told. Okay? The three primary types are first person, second person, and third person. Okay? Uulitin lang ho natin, ang perspective ho ay, syempre, ang nagmamaniobra niyan ay yung narrator. Sa kwento ha, narrator. So, gagamit ho, depende kung ano yung approach ni writer dyan sa part na iyan. Pero right after nga ho na mabasa, syempre, may kanya-kanya ho tayong perspektibo doon sa mismong tema. No? Diyan na papasok yung usapin ng mood. No? Yung counterpart ng tone, mood. Yung reader's point of view, reader's perspective. Na po. Pero, punta muna tayo dito sa mga angulo. And since napag-usapan na rin lang natin yung kinds no, ng point of view, no, let's have this one. First person POV, kailan ba ito ginagamit? Siyempre, if the narrator is a character directly in the story, first person yun. no? Gumagamit tayo ng pronouns I, me, my, we, us. Excuse me. The narrator is protagonist telling their own story. The narrator is supporting character or bystander observing the protagonist's journey. Okay, kaya siya, pwedeng central, pwedeng peripheral. By the way, yung first person point of view, maaari siyang central or peripheral narrator, ha? Kapag central, siya ang pinaka-bida. Siya na bida, siya pa narrator, di ba? Siya ang naglalahad, siya ang nag-guide sa atin, no, para maintindihan yung kwento. Pero pwede rin sa first person yung peripheral narrator. Ibig sabihin, siya yung parang side character na nag-guide sa atin in order to understand the concept of the story. No? Yung buong konsepto ng story. Si side character, no, syempre, nabigyan siya ng chance in order to narrate. Depende yan sa approach ng writer. Again, depende sa approach ng writer. Okay, next we have the second person point of view. Madalang to, no, pagdating sa prose. Kadalasan, ginagamit ang second person point of view sa poetry. The narrator here speaks directly to the reader, pulling them into the action as an active participant. Gumagamit ho tayo ng pronouns like you and your. Second person. No? You and your. You, your, yours. No? Rarely used in full-length fiction, but common in instruction, self-help books, and choose-your-own-adventure formats. Pero again, bibihira. No? Kadalasan, we observe this approach sa poetry. Next, we have third person point of view. An external outside narrator tells the story, referring to all characters by name or by specific pronouns. So, gumagamit tayo ng pronouns, personal pronouns. He, she, it, they, them. Okay? Third person. So, third person point of view. Hindi po personal pronouns, no? Kasi kapag personal pronouns, yun yung sa first person. O, kapag third person POV, hindi na po. Gagamit na po tayo ng he, she, it, they, them. I repeat, kapag first person point of view, personal pronouns po ang ating ginagamit. Okay? Yung mga panghalip panao. Okay? Pagdating sa third person POV, ayan. Third person pronouns po ang ginagamit. Yung mga subject kadalasan. Yung pronoun na ginagamit natin. He, she, it, they, and them. Okay? Ayan. Third person POV. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyong two classifications ng third person POV. Yung limited and omniscient. In third person limited, the narrator follows and reveals the inner thoughts, feelings, and experiences of just one character. Isa lang. Limited nga eh. No? While omniscient is the all-knowing narrator can see, hear, and reveal the inner thoughts and motives of multiple characters. Ayan, pasensya na medyo maingay. Again, third person POV, omniscient, all-knowing. Ibig sabihin, lahat alam niya. Okay? The narrator knows everything. So, walang limit. So, ayan. And of course, we have types. Another one. No, objective. The narrator acts like a detached camera, observing actions and dialogue without revealing anyone's inner thoughts or feelings. No? Ando lang siya as a narrator. Para siyang, camera or CCTV. Okay? So, yun lang. Merong 3 classifications. Sorry sa akala ko 2. 3 pala yung nasama ko. We have limited, omniscient, and objective. Pero again, class, pagdating naman sa prose, kadalasan ang napapansin lang or usual na nagagamit ay limited and omniscient. So, medyo bibihira tong objective, no? Yan lang. That would be all. I hope somehow you learned something. Sorry for the medyo may noise tayo bahagya. Anyway, patapos naman na. Thank you so much, class, for tuning in. I hope somehow you learned something from this video. If ever you have question or clarification, feel free to comment below and then I'll answer all your queries and concern about the lesson. If you think you fully understand the lesson, please drop green emojis, yellow if you still have questions, and red if you did not understand. That will be all for today. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.